It is game 1 of the NBA Finals in Oklahoma City, and I've got Jalen Williams, J. Will here alongside me, the Indiana Pacers in town, and this going to be shaping up for an amazing series between your two teams. Obviously, you've worked so hard to get to this point, and now you get to go out and do what you guys do best, which is go out and compete. What's this feeling like right now, having a chance to play for a championship?
Yeah, it's super exciting. You grow up wanting to play in the NBA Finals, and you dream about the buzzer running down and confetti coming down. But before you can get to any of that, you got to worry about the game 1. And at the end of the day, it's basketball. It might be the finals, it might be whatever game it is, but it's basketball. It's the same jump ball, same rim, same basketball. So we just got to go out there and be ourselves.
You guys have had that mentality through all of your different experiences, including, the Emirates Cup that you had earlier in the year and so many of these high leverage games. You have NBA Media Day yesterday, which is kind of bizarre and wild. But what's been key for you all year long to just kind of maintain that focused approach and that mentality to just, focus on what's happening between the lines?
Yeah, I think what's put us in the best position is no matter what game it is, if it's game 1 or 82 or 37, we always worry about the same things. And regardless if we're losing the game, winning the game, whatever it is, we go into the next day with the same approach. We work on what we need to work on, get better at our stuff. And as long as we take that same approach, that's when we put ourselves in the best position.
Mark Daigneault said that you all have really focused on the fundamentals here over the last week or so, recognizing that, it's kind of good for you all to just be in the almost a normal rhythm of like, all right, we're going to have a practice before the game and then a shoot around and kind of lead into it the way we normally would. What would have been kind of the primary fundamentals that are going to be critical in this matchup?
Yeah, just what's used for every game. Just shell, playing as a team, being connected, communicating. Just the small things that goes into every basketball game. Those are always the biggest parts of what goes into winning.
Indiana is a team that is willing to throw zone out there. Rick Carlisle is not afraid to experiment with different things. When you look offensively at some keys for you all, just in terms of being quick and decisive on attacks, what have you all learned over the course of the season in that regard?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different coverages throughout the year. Of course, we have great players on both sides of the ball. We have a bunch of different guys that bring a bunch of different personnel, and we kind of just learn to continue to be ourselves. Whatever the defense throws at us, we got to stay with the same principles, play fast, play our brand of basketball, and when we do that, we put ourselves in the best position.
And then how about defensively? I mean, that's where you all have hung your hat all season long. You're going up against an incredible offensive team in Indiana. They've shot the lights out, particularly from the corners. What are some keys for you all defensively to just try to make them play to your style and your brand and your tempo?
Yeah, just continue to do the things that we've done. We've had a good defense throughout the season, and it's because we always deal with 5. It's never 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. It's always 5 against 5. And when you have 5 guys that are connected out there on the defensive end, that's when you put yourself in the best spots, and it makes it easier for the person next to you when you're communicating and knowing that you're going to leave it all out there.
You got it started by hustling back in transition. You guys get loaded up, and you do it all together, the communication at a high level, even in a frenzied environment like you're going to have tonight at Paycom Center. J. Will, this your first NBA Finals, the city so hungry for this. What does this mean to you and the people around here to have the finals at OKC?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's what you dream of your whole life, to be able to play in a game like this. And I'm super excited to share this opportunity with my teammates, my coaches, the community, my family. I think my family is probably more excited than I am. So I'm super ready for it. I'm ready to see what Paycom brings tonight.
Yeah, all right. Well, good luck out there in this one. I know that place is going to be rocking, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys out there. Appreciate you, J. Will.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That's Jaylin Williams. I'm Nick Gallo, and this is Thunder Basketball. Of the sheer number of potential matchups for you in this series, what's this preparation been like for you individually, kind of within the team context defensively?
Nothing like super out of the ordinary. Not as like a diss them. Obviously, they have a lot of weapons, but it's nothing that I haven't prepared for throughout the year. And I mean, yeah, it won't be like too off base for anything that I've done before. But you are right though, like just the way they play, like you're gonna be guarding a lot of different people.
The way they time their screens, they slip a lot of screens. They'll hold them every once in a while. Like it'll throw off defenses in terms of their communication. What is it that's difficult about their screening and their timing that kind of makes them different?
You said it, just the amount of different things that they try and do on the screens to confuse, create advantages. They slip, they set, they ghost. Like they do a bunch of things with the screen. So a lot of it comes down to talking and just trusting our coverages, trusting what's behind us.
How You guys had the long layoff going into the Denver series, lost game 1. Did you feel like that loss was at all about the layoff?
Wait, which game did we lose?
Game 1 against Denver after the long layoff.
Nah, that wasn't it. We actually kind of gave that game away. So just looking back at it, I think we were up a good amount with like 2 minutes left. You know what I mean? Like we had a good lead that we gave away. So we try not to like overanalyze a lot of things regarding that. Just I think the biggest thing we learned with that game 1 and that just game in particular was just like clock management, getting stops, getting possessions, and just stuff like that.
I guess as it relates to now, do you feel like sharp? I don't know how many days it's been since y'all played, but do you feel sharp?
Yeah, I feel sharp. I feel good. Like Chet said it earlier, just like really, you can never really complain about like days off in the NBA, especially when you get, like this far into the season. You can really use it to recover, get your mind right, and do all that. And I think we took really, really good advantage of the whole thing.
Do the nerves feel any different going into tonight's game versus just a regular playoff game?
I think, if anything, just probably a little more like anxious. And actually, I don't even say anxious. I would just say more curious. I'm more curious about like what the court's going to look like, what it's going to feel like. But as far as like actually playing basketball, it's still just basketball. So I'm still, you know what I mean? There's still going to be 10 people on the court. We're still going to have to try and figure out how to win a game. So like that part doesn't change. But I am more curious just about like the final setup and just like, a lot of like, this are my first finals, so it's cool to just like go through that process.
You mentioned giving away that game 1 against the Nuggets. The Pacers have pulled off a ton of, several like ridiculous comebacks. Have you guys, looked at that? Is there, what's kind of the priority in terms of not letting them pull off those kind of comebacks?
I don't think I have a good enough answer that doesn't regard like game plan, but I think a lot of it is just like when you're playing a team in general, especially a team that's gotten to the finals, you got to just understand like you're never too far ahead and you're never too like far behind. So I think that's a good like thing that I think both teams are going to carry on throughout this whole entire thing. But we've been down 30 and won the game too, so they're probably thinking kind of the same thing we're thinking. But a lot of it is just like they're never too far behind, and we always got to keep that in the back of my mind.
Is there any curiosity? You only played them twice. It's a final a while back since the last time you played them. And you know what you wanted when you scout them and everything, but still that game 1 of a series was always kind of a filling out process a little bit.
Yeah, you try, honestly, game 1, you try not to do as much feeling out. It makes you play slow and like kind of timid. So a lot of it is just like meeting every challenge and not getting stunted by like different things that they did.
So because of the way that you guys defend, you foul a lot in general, but it's like really a lot for a team as elite defensively as you are. I'm curious, like, what is your guys' culture behind fouling? Like when you're going through a film session as a team, I know there are a lot of coaches who will try to eliminate fouls, but the way that you play stylistically, you kind of have to have them. Like, how do you guys handle that when you're going through and you're evaluating those kinds of plays?
Just understanding what a strategic foul would be and then understanding what a dumb foul would be, like fouling in the bonus as opposed to like maybe like fouling to like, I don't know, like, do you guys know what a bad foul is? Like, I don't want to like get into like the weeds about it. Yeah. You don't want to foul, like, for example, like if we have a film session and we're in the bonus in the second quarter and we foul 94 feet from the basket, that's a bad foul. Like we try and avoid those. There's different ones where you're trying to save a bucket or you're making an effort play and you know what I mean? So that's what we try and like go through the weeds with about fouling. But I think a lot of times they kind of like let us rock. And for the most part, like if we have like learning like fouls where we can learn from them or we're trying to do the right thing and we foul, like we try and learn from those, but they try not to get like too involved with it because like you said, it's part of our identity a little bit.
How do you learn from it? What's that process?
Well, I mean, try not to foul, like I said, up in the bonus 94 feet from the rim. Some of it is like understanding player tendencies and just like you get caught in a lot of the same situations throughout the course of the season. So you just kind of try and learn from it and avoid it.
Dub, a lot has been made about the pace in which Indiana plays at. You guys have actually played at a faster pace in the postseason than they have. Wonder what you've thought about kind of that battle and how maybe their supposed strength is something you guys are also comfortable with.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to like how similar our teams are, to be honest. And like, I think who you're playing and the series also determines like your pace and stuff like that. So, are you going next?
No, we're here. Yeah, I'm
Oh, okay, my fault. I'll speed up. Yeah, I think I don't know. We try not to get like too caught up in like what they're doing and like focus on what we're doing. But at the same time, yeah, like we're both really similar in that regard. So you try to like understand like who they were playing, who we were playing, and like see the actual game for what it was.
That's Mark about that, and he said that you guys have to be the team that sticks to your identity more than they stick to their identity. Get them off of what their identity is when it's a team that's so similar. What does that look like for you on the court? Is sticking to your identity while making them not look like what they can.
I think the biggest thing about that is just mark it on the head, like just doing what we do and then go from there. You know what I mean? You never want to be on the end of like reacting to how a team is playing. And I think that's kind of just the biggest thing for us. Like you don't want to strive away from like what got you to where you are.
Their offense has gotten a ton of attention over the course of the series and postseason. They've also been like a top 10 defense since I think about the beginning of January. As you've looked at them and studied them, what stands out about the way that they've been defending?
I think at the rate that they score, you're playing against a set defense a lot. So a lot of that comes down to getting stops, and then like any other game, you know what I mean? It gets harder to score on offense if you're taking the ball out every time. And then just, like I said, they're similar to us. So, you know, they're pressing, they're playing hard, they're being physical, you know what I mean? They're trying to blow up handoffs like that. Their energy defensively is what kind of carries them a long way.
One of the best in the league at protecting the ball. Obviously, you guys are the best creating turnovers, but you know, especially Halliburton. How does that affect or factor into your gambling decision making?
When you're playing against smart players, try to be really solid and go from there. But it also doesn't stop you from like, you know, taking risks. Like they're human, so it's like you just gotta see what the risk and reward is during the game, and like kind of like time and situation to like gamble and stuff like that. But like I said, like our identity is to play hard defensively, whatever that may look like. And sometimes defense is just about really just being solid and having them like make a harder decision than, you know, gambling where you kind of like bail somebody out.